Ah, come back. Okay. Hello and welcome to risk management training. This is a required training for any person who's going to serve as a risk management officer at events with or without alcohol. The risk management team is comprised of 6 or more members of the organization, and they are responsible for monitoring all events. If your event has alcohol, your risk management team has to have at least 6 people. If your event does not have alcohol, you have to have at least 2 people per 30 attendees, up to 6 total. If your organization's total membership is less than 12, please work with fraternity and sorority life staff to determine a suitable size for your risk management team. Your team must have at least one executive officer, so someone on your executive board needs to serve on risk management at all times. Other members of the team can be any risk management trained active members, so people who have gone through this training you're watching now. New members are not allowed to serve on the risk management team during their first semester of membership. For co-sponsored events, the risk management team has to have an executive officer from each organization, and then the other team members can be equally split amongst the host organizations. Risk management team members are prohibited from consuming alcohol or other drugs prior to and during the event. So you must be sober at the beginning, during, and after the event. Those serving on risk management have to serve for the entirety of the event, so there is no switching risk management members. Your team is the same 6 people who start, go through the event, and end the event. There is no switching of risk management. So those 6 people are on the whole night. Risk management team members are also responsible for staying in designated areas throughout the event. It is required to have a risk management team meeting 30 minutes prior to the start of the event. The risk management team has to discuss the event responsibilities and review any information with the designated event officers prior to the start. Again, 30 minutes prior to the start. All risk management team members have to arrive to this meeting sober and wear their risk management team buttons. They are orange and they are provided by fraternity and sorority life. There is no other exception but the orange button. I know that it's not cute, especially if you've got nice clothing on, but that is the only way to designate who is on the risk management team to the event officers, who change every event. And so that is consistent, and we need you to wear the orange button. At events with alcohol, the risk management team is required to introduce themselves to the police and security officers at this team meeting. And at the conclusion of the meeting, the risk management team then clears the venue and begins the check-in process. So everyone needs to be cleared from the venue, and then they must check back in as the event starts. Reporting of the team members, those will be reported on the event registration form. So there's a form, especially when I know for sure when you click that this is an event with alcohol, it prompts you to list the 6 risk management officers. If those change in between the time you submit the risk management register or the event registration and the actual event, you can do an update on that form on campus groups. But I will then, when approving your event, verify that the people who you've listed as your risk management team have been or have completed this risk management training, so that everyone is on the same page, and to hold you accountable to ensure that you know what you're doing prior to the start of your event. The following placement is recommended for your risk management team: 1 person at check-in and check-out, 1 person at each point of entry, unless that point of entry is a door that's closed and locked, 1 person at each stairwell, and 1 to 2 people roaming as event monitors. As a reminder, the risk management person at check-in cannot check IDs. They can highlight names on the list. They can check people in on campus groups. The only people who are allowed to check IDs are the event officers, which would be either UNA PD, UNA public safety officers, or another third party that has been coordinated by fraternity and sorority life. In terms of what your risk management team needs to have for events, the designated orange risk management button, campus groups QR code to check in attendees, your certificate of liability insurance, which FSL keeps on file, but you should have a copy as well, pertinent contact information in the event of an emergency, a copy of the FSL guidelines, which could be the FSL handbook. It's all located in there. A large dark permanent marker for marking hands of underage attendees, printed copy of the invitation list, and a highlighter to check in attendees on the invitation list. So you need to, I know a lot of you use like Google Sheets and you highlight people on Google, but you need to present a printed invitation list for the officers at the start of the event so that they at least have a physical copy. If you want to keep up with your attendance on Google, and then send us the link to the Google or send us a PDF of who came, I'm fine with that, but you need to have a printed copy to physically highlight for the officers who are at your event. Responsibilities. Again, you must wear the orange button at all times when you're serving on risk management. You're responsible for clearing the venue 15 minutes prior to the start of the event. Risk management team members must also check in on campus groups. And at events with alcohol, you need to cross-reference the printed invitation list. So make sure we're checking people in online and then also highlighting their names on the list. The risk management is responsible for responding to all emergency situations. They help with the check-in process, besides checking IDs, monitor designated social areas, coordinate the transportation of members and guests who leave the event intoxicated, and remove attendees who are not in compliance with laws or event guidelines. So you all really hold the group accountable for following all of the event guidelines when it comes to social events. Just as an aside, alternative beverages need to be served when there's an event with alcohol, so they must be provided at the expense of the host organization, have to be readily available at no cost to guests for the duration of the event, and need to be accessible in the primary space of the event. So whether that's water, Cokes, LaCroix, I don't really care what it is. Usually water is what I would suggest, but alternative beverages need to be offered. For BYOB events, this is again just for your reference as someone who will serve on risk management. All attendees are required to bring their own alcohol within the limitations listed below, which I will get to. That includes members and guests. At the end of the function, the host organization should immediately dispose of all alcohol left by guests. Alcohol products above 13% ABV are prohibited. So the number of alcoholic beverages permitted per person per BYOB event are a 6-pack of beer, 1 bottle of 750 milliliter wine, or a 4-pack of wine coolers, seltzers, ciders, malt beverages, etc. So this is the amount that each person of legal drinking age can bring to a BYOB event. And then emergency reporting. In the event of an emergency, contact the officers at the event. If you are at an event without officers because there's no alcohol or whatever the case may be, call 911 immediately. And then make sure that message gets back to fraternity and sorority life. If there's an event with alcohol and you have officers, likely they're going to loop us in. But just to make sure that we are aware of what's happening at your event, please loop us in so that we can address things as necessary. So thank you so much for serving as a risk management officer, for being a leader in your chapter. I sincerely appreciate it in keeping our community safe and healthy. And thank you for watching our risk management training video. How do I? Okay. Okay, thanks. Bye.